Fellas, week 7 in the books. We're halfway through the regular season. Where does the time go? Feels like just yesterday I was watching Rory and Caleb basically play a different sport than me down in Myrtle while I putzed around with Chase in the background. So, halfway through the regular season, Caleb has gotten his first win. No more winless teams remaining. Congratulations to Caleb. Fun week across the league, I'll say. Honestly, not a lot of close games, but there were some really high-scoring teams. Steele almost broke 200. We'll get into the matchups like we always do, right? Okay week for me from predictions 2 and 3. We're sitting at 18 and 17 on the year. Chase, Rory, Steele, Gilliam got your games right. Everyone else got your games wrong. 2 and 5 on Derek and Sam games. 5 and 2 on Caleb and Rory games and Chris games. Everywhere else, somewhere in the middle, as you can see here. I have not gotten the winner and loser of the week videos yet, so please send me those. Actually, if you're watching this, you will have sent me those, so just ignore that. But I will have those tomorrow when I go back and edit this video. But it's Tuesday night right now. We're getting into the recap, and I'll probably be wearing something different tomorrow unless I didn't feel like changing my sweatshirt. But let's get into these games, shall we, fellas? First matchup, got this one wrong. Caleb, 139 to 79. Not even close. 60-point victory in his first victory of the season. Derek played about as poor of a fantasy matchup as one could play. He only had 3 decisions to make, and all of them were incorrect. He left Bo Nix on the bench in favor of Aaron Rodgers. Bo Nix had 40 points this week, outscored him by 17. Chase Brown could have played over Jameson Williams, who had 0 to Chase Brown's 12. Chiefs D over Steelers D. That was a 17-point swing, 13 to negative 4 points. It wouldn't have mattered. That wasn't 60 points. So Derek, take some solace, and nothing you could have done this week mattered. You were going to lose to Caleb anyway. Caleb, victory. How sweet does it taste? Led in scoring by Mahomes and Jahmyr Gibbs. Gibbs, man on a mission. 2 touchdowns, looked incredible. Trevion Henderson still in the starting lineup, 0.5 points. I think next week is the week we get the Trevion breakout for sure. MHJ, he's just as skinny N'Keal Harry, as I said in the group chat. Lad McConkey is getting back together. The past 3 weeks has been decent, 14, 23, and 15 after 9, 8, and 2 the 3 previous weeks. A-Kane, best part of the Dolphins offense on Sunday, but that's not saying a whole lot. And then Dicker, the kicker, was 7. So 139, that's a solid outing. I actually think that was bottom 5 in scoring because we had a very high week in scoring across the league. But, Caleb's not going to complain with getting a win even if he's not top 5 in scoring. And honestly, good on you, kid. Happy you finally got in the win column. No one's going to be winless. The pressure is off your next opponent, who's me, to be the first one to take the L to him. So, Derek, I appreciate you taking that off of my shoulders for this week right here. Caleb gets a win. Still in lone possession of last place at 1-6, the only 1-6 team, but he's climbing his way out of the hole. 139 to 79. Derek's sitting at 3-4 in 7th place, just outside the playoff picture. Second matchup, Ford and Sam. Sam got this game wrong. I also got this game wrong because I trusted Sam. 147 to 123. Led in scoring by 3 dudes, CMC, Devontae, and Rashee Rice. CMC with a monster game on Sunday Night Football. George Kittle was back. He was blocking. He wasn't catching passes. Devontae with 3 touchdowns, I believe, on the Sunday morning game. He was hooping out in London. And then Rashee Rice was targeted early and targeted often. The Chiefs were determined to get him into the end zone, and he did score. Bears D was a good play with 15 points. Everyone else is pretty meh. Jared Goff with 10. Tet with 6. Rico Dowdle with 10. He's back to splitting the backfield with Chuba now that he's back. That's going to be a bummer for sure for Sam. Michael Mayer with 2. Sam's 2-0 since he made the trade, but his tight end play has been very weak. He's obviously hoping that Brock Bowers comes back soon. I think he probably regrets trading Tyler Warren a little bit, but he's 2-0 since he made the trade, so maybe not. And then Michael Badgley did miss an extra point, finished with 6 points. On Ford's side of the matchup, Quinshon and DeAndre and the Panthers D, that was about it from highlights for him. Jaden was looking good until he got hurt, just from a football and a comedy stand and for the dumpster fire perspective. You got to hope he's okay. You never want to see a young, exciting player get hurt. That's a bummer for sure. It's always more fun when he's out there. Rest of his team, pretty disappointing. Bill has not been great. Alvin Kamara only with 5 points. He does get a pretty big bump in value with Kendre Miller tearing his ACL. You never hope for an injury, but I'm sure Ford's not too broken up about it. Drake London only with 8 points. if you guys are not familiar with Drake London splits when Darnell Mooney is playing, I encourage you to look it up. He's pretty mid if Darnell Mooney's out there. He's great when he's by himself, but for some reason, if Darnell Mooney's out there, Drake London just turns into a wide receiver too. So it's not looking great for Ford if Drake London is going to be out there with Darnell Mooney if his hamstring can stay healthy. Lefty Higgins on the bench with 21 points. Woody Marks with 12 got in the end zone. So left some points on the bench. I don't think it would have been enough to make a difference, but tough scenes for sure. And Ford's obviously going to be hurting if Jaden is going to be out for an extended period of time. He's probably not going to play on Monday. But we'll see, right? And honestly, it's the Chiefs. They're going to beat the crap out of them. So Sam, he's won 2 in a row. 2-0 in the last 2. His tight end play has been weak. You have to wonder if he regrets the Jawan Jennings, Rico Dowdle for Tyler Warren trade. He is 2-0 since he made the trade, so probably not. But you have to wonder. Got to hope he gets Brock Bowers back soon. Ford drops another one, sitting at 2-5 in 9th, and Sam also 2-5, but sitting in 8th. Third matchup, Chase and Rory. Rory hadn't set his lineup when I made the video last time. Honestly, it wouldn't have mattered because his team was that bad this week. 140-102. Rory, not the loser of the week. Derek has that honor. But Chase gets a much-needed victory. He's been slipping. His team is not looking too great. Made a great defensive move this week with my juggernaut Patriots and Eddie Pinheiro. 31 points from his defense and special teams. That's manager of the week material for sure. Keenan Allen with 28. Jalen Hurts with 24. Kyron disappointed on Sunday morning with 8. Jordan Mason only with 11. And Aaron Jones is back this week, so he probably fades into a little bit of relevancy. Travis is pretty mid, as I've been saying. And then, honestly, one of the biggest disappointments in fantasy football this year has been Nico Collins. He's drafted, late end of the first round, early round of the second. Has not looked good. He got concussed. He's sitting at the wide receiver 33. The Texans as an offense have only looked good against the Ravens, and that's more of an indictment on how bad the Ravens are. He did bench Devontae Smith. Again, it didn't matter. He won by 38, but as is tradition for Chase, he flicks the wrong receiver and leaves points on the bench. He's been doing that for the past 6-7 years, however long we've been in this league, but it is what it is, right? On Rory's side of the matchup, 102, not worse in the league, but close. If Puka's missing time, he's hurting. His running back room is the worst running back room in the league, and I don't think it's close. Saquon has not been good from a fantasy or real life perspective, honestly, sitting at the RB14. He started Jeremy McNichols this weekend for crying out loud, and his other running back on his bench is Justice Hill. So he's hurting. What do you do if you're Rory? That's a good question because you don't have a lot of trade assets outside of Puka and Josh Allen. He gets Zay Flowers and Josh Allen back this week off of their bye, but you got to do something, man. Like I think Rory was anticipating is like I'm officially open for trade. Everyone was going to hit him up. I imagine no one texted him because no one wants anyone on his team outside of Puka. So tough sledding for Rory. Did start at 5-0. He's dropped 2 in a row, sitting in third place. Chase gets a much-needed win. 3-4, 6th place in the playoff picture. Fourth matchup, our highest scoring combined matchup, and it wasn't close. It was our number 1 and number 2 scorer this week, Steele and Gilliam. Gilliam's luck finally runs out. He'd been squeaking by, scoring low, still winning. 164 this week, and he still lost by almost 30 points. Jamar, obviously, on Thursday night, 38, and Gilliam was right. He had 38 from that player, and he still wasn't projected to win, which is pretty wild with how good Steele's team is looking this year. 38 from Jamar, 28 from A.J. Brown, 14 from Stephon Diggs, 10 from the Seahawks defense, 16 from Tucker Kraft, 16 from Ramondre, the terrorist, and then Dak with 23. Didn't really leave left a little bit of points on the bench, I guess. Yeah, he did leave. With Jordan Addison, but you weren't going to start Jordan Addison over Rome Odunze. It just wasn't going to happen. Pacheco over Breece Hall, you weren't really going to do that either. It wouldn't have mattered. I mean, there was nothing he could have done. Steele was going to win regardless. Steele, 193 points, 34 from JT, 21 from Bijan, 26 from JSN, 21 from Jake Ferguson, 18 from Javante, 18 from his kicker. Just all good across the board. J.K. Dobbins and the Packers were the only people that didn't break double digits. He had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people break 20 and 1 person break 30. So no one's beating him if he's going to be put up these numbers on a consistent basis. And he's been consistent with how much he's been scoring this year. Sitting at 6-1 in first place, sole possession of first place, I might add. And Chris gets his first loss of the year, drops to 5-1-1, sitting in second. Final matchup, me and Ben, 154-135. This wasn't a must win, but we're happy to get a win after we did lose to Ford last week. And As Monday night started, I was getting remnants of what happened last week, watching my 80% victory slowly squander away. Amon-Ra started off with 20 points in the first half. Thankfully, he only caught a negative one more yards in the second half, and then Rashad White was pretty mid. Everyone misses Bucky Irving because he is much better. But Rashad just wasn't really – the Bucks as a whole did not look great. Obviously, Mike Evans going down is a pretty big bummer for me. I remember during week one when I had CD, Mike Evans, and Malik Neighbors, and I was like, this is awesome. This is going to be a fun season. And now it's week 7, and CD hasn't played half the year, and I finally get him back, and I don't have the other two guys. So that was fun for 1 week, but we move on. That's fantasy football. You got to adapt, right? But yeah, we were pumped to get a win. This was a 19-point win, and I say that because the difference here was our defense this week. 25-point swing. Browns defense for me got 24. Jags defense for him got -1. That's the week. So that's what it is. I mean, Ben's guys, for the most part, played pretty well. Actually, he had a couple guys that played really well. A couple guys that didn't. Olave with 26, scored twice. Justin Herbert looks great in garbage time with 27. Amon-Ra, as I mentioned, with 20. Goddard disappointed. Jalen Waddle really disappointed. But, I mean, the weather there was really bad. I wouldn't have started any pass catchers in that game just because there was like 50-mile-an-hour winds. But if you're showing up drunk to the draft and auto drafting, I don't think you're reading weather reports for what's going on in Cleveland on a random Sunday. So wouldn't expect that to been caught. Bucker sucks. I don't care. Bucker's a bum. On my side of the matchup, led in scoring by Trey McBride. Kyler Murray, hope you never play football again, at least for the Cardinals, because Jacoby Brissett is much better than you finding his best player. Browns defense, as I mentioned, Tyler Warren's looked great with 16 points. Drake May, MVP Drake May, I may add, 23 points. Jaylen Warren looked great on Thursday Night Football, 19, and he had a touchdown called back. So, we left some points on the bench with Kyle Monangai, but we never going to start him. And then Tez Johnson, I honestly only picked him up because I was worried Mike Evans was going to be ruled out beforehand. But now that Mike Evans is injured, we're not dropping him. We're going to hold on to him for sure. Dave Montgomery disappointed again, but it is what it is, right? You can't win them all. 154 to 135. I'm not going to say how much you need to win, but we're happy to be in the win column. I'm up 4-3, fourth place. Ben drops to 3-1 in fifth. And now let's hear from both our winner and our loser of the week. First, we'll hear from our winner of the week, Steele, back again on top, 190 points. What do you got to say, my friend?
What's up, guys? Winner of the week here again after a 193 to 164 victory against Gilliam. I thought he was going to hit me with the voodoo magic and hold my team to about 100, but that ended up not being the case. I was getting concerned when Jamar Chase had 38 and our projections got pretty close, and then A.J. Brown scored 2 touchdowns. I really thought I was going to lose. And then I checked the app again, and Jonathan Taylor had scored 3 touchdowns. Jake Ferguson had 2, and everything was back to normal. So I thought that might be the end of the voodoo magic. I thought he'd lost his powers trying to take me down, but looks like he just took all of that, it pushed it into this week, and completely decimated Derek's lineup. Everyone is injured. Everyone's on bye, and a couple of them just suck at football. So sorry about that, Derek. A couple people I want to thank. Last week, Sam, thank you for the 10 on the under on that alternate line. If you want to do that again, just let me know. I'm down. I put that 10 on a KW3 birthday touchdown. Didn't hit. They don't give him the ball. It's really annoying. Another guy I want to thank is Caleb for this round 4 draft pick. You should be seeing a screenshot right here. He took Travion Henderson in round 4. I think I would have taken Travion had he fallen that far, but I had to settle for this JSN guy, which he's been better so far, but it's a long season. It could go either way, really. Last guy I want to thank is Rory, and that's for not accepting that trade in week 1 that I sent you. It was Javonte for Saquon straight up. I dove into the numbers a little bit more, and Saquon's best week was that week 1, 18.4, in a game where Javonte outplayed him and scored 20 fantasy points, but that was his highest. Javonte's averaged 18.7, so Rory, appreciate it. Javonte probably would have been a good guy for you to have instead of Ollie Gordon and Justice Hill and stuff, but I guess not, But best of luck to everybody, except for Chase. I think I'm like a 30-point favorite on him. If you want to do a side bet, you just let me know. you can do spread bet so that you have a little bit more of a chance, something like that. But yeah, let me know.
Very gracious, Steele. Nice of you to give thanks to a bunch of our league mates. I'm sure they all really appreciate it. That round four draft is looking pretty rough, fellas. Round four was a wasteland, it looks like, except for JSN, basically. Um, and I guess Trey McBride. So the Jareds knew what they were doing in round four. Am I right, fellas? But we'll hear from our loser of the week now. Derek, you're very used to seeing his face, whether he's the winner or the loser. He's normally featured. And this week is not unlike any other. So, Derek, what have you to say this week?
All right, guess I'll keep it short and sweet. This is like the 6th week in a row I'm taking a video. This time, loser of the week, of course. 79 points, just an absolute disgrace. I mean, team is just back to dog shit. Let's see. James Williams, 0 points. Thanks, man. Appreciate you coming out. Genty, 4 points. Appreciate it. Laporta, 4 points. Brian Thomas, 6 points. Kenneth Walker, 6 points. Left a lot of points on the bench. I mean, let's see. Bo Nix, 40 points. And he scored about half of those in the last 5 minutes of the game. I'm not even going to blame myself on that one. That was the right start. The Giants just fucking suck. And then, yeah, of course, went with my heart, started the Steelers defense, minus 4 points, and the Chiefs put up 14 on defense. So, yeah, not a great week. Wish that my team could just put up a solid 120 every week, and I would just roll the dice with that instead of 200 and then 70 and then 200 and then 70. But what are you going to do? This week, Gillum, congrats on the win. I feel like I should just make my loser of the week video now because we're not going to be able to fill a roster. How many we got on bye? There's six people on a bye. I have 2 people on the IR. Chris Godwin's just got ruled out. Terry McLaurin is questionable, but we all know that means he's not going to play. Sorry. Thought it was going to be a short video, but I don't know. Kind of needed a little rant there, so appreciate you guys listening.
Yes, as I talked about, left a lot of points on the bench, wouldn't have mattered, but whatever the manager of the week is, Derek was the opposite of that. So a lot of points on the bench, made every wrong decision he could have, some tough sledding. Before we get into predictions for this week, I did get a video request from none other than Sam Walkup, the hottest team in the league. He's asked me to throw in a clip for the league here, so I will do this at his request. Please enjoy this video sent in by Sam.
Play clock at 1. They get it off. Blitz is coming. Mariota in trouble. Being ripped away. Stays alive. Throws it in the front. And picked off. Guess who? Deron Bland. One man to beat. Pick 6.
Very, very well said, Sam. I'm sure Ford will love that clip especially. But that's last week. Let's get on to this new week here. It is Bye-Pocalypse. We have 6 teams on bye this week. There are going to be some guys that are hurting around the league. Our first matchup, we have Sam and Ben. Sam's on a 2-game win streak. Ben just dropped 1 to me. Not a lot of changes from Ben's side of it. He does have another week with Rashad White. He does have Amon-Ra on bye this week, which is tough for him, and ETN as well. Going with the Bucs defense against New Orleans, he's got Olave, Waddle, Scatterboo, Jacobs, Justin Herbert, Goddard. He's going with Xavier Worthy right now over Romeo Dubes. I bet he does keep that. Maybe he plugs Chuba in, but we'll see with Rico Dowdle's emergence. Ben does come in at almost a 20-point favorite here. Sam is definitely hurting with Brock Bowers injured and on bye, and also Devontae Adams is on bye this week. So some tough sledding maybe this week for Sam. He is streaming Jordan Love. He picked him up off the waivers this morning, I believe. CMC's been the RB1. Sam was right at the 1-1. CMC was the correct pick. We all made fun of him, but he was right there. Rico Dowdle and Tet got Carolina going up against Buffalo. He's got Rashee Rice and Brashard Smith, got double Kansas City. Brashard Smith is an interesting play. He only scored during that garbage time when all the starters were out, but he's a rookie. I think people are hoping he kind of takes that Jerick McKinnon role, but we'll see. The Chiefs running backfield trio of him and Pacheco and Kareem Hunt is an interesting one. And then Kate Otten at the tight end. That's probably a decent play with Mike Evans being back on IR and Chris Godwin being out. So they don't have a lot of pass catchers. And then Juwan Jennings, who is the most injured man of all time. We'll see if he's able to get it going. Doubt it, but maybe. Badgley off the waivers, and then the Bears D against Baltimore. I am assuming that Lamar's not going to play, and if he is, then Sam would have to be insane to start the Bears defense against Lamar, but we will see, right? You know, I get why Ben is a heavy favorite here. I do think I'm going to pick Ben here, Sam, unfortunately. But, stay hot. I like it. 2-5, but you're 2-0 in your last two, and that's all you can ask for, right? But I do think Ben comes away with this one. Second matchup, and this is an interesting matchup. We got Rory and Ford this week. Rory 5-2 has lost 2 in a row, sitting in third place. Ford 2-5. I'm going to say he's kind of on the up with just because of Quinshon, basically. But Ford comes in at about a 5-point favorite here, and Rory is obviously still hurting because Puka is on bye this week. He's hoping to get him back next week. That will basically determine how the rest of his season goes. But I talk about this basically every time I look at Rory's team, that he has the worst running back room in the league with how bad Saquon's been, James Conner getting hurt, and just his other guys are not good. He has not played the waivers well, I guess, when it comes to running backs. With all that being said, it was difficult for him to play the waivers well because he was 5-0, so he had the last claim. I can't believe he scooped up my kicker that I was going to take this week. So just wild, whatever. He does have the Bills D on his bench. I'm assuming he picked them up to play them against Carolina this week, and he's not going to play the Broncos defense. But I don't want to speculate. That's just me speculating. Like I said, Ford comes in at a 5-point favorite here. Obviously, Alvin Kamara gets a huge boost. Right now, he is starting C.J. Stroud. I think there's a trade out to Ford. We'll see if he accepts it by the time of this video. He's going to ponder it where he would not have to start C.J. Stroud anymore. And he has some viable options on the bench with Vidal and Woody Marks this week. I probably wouldn't start Bill without Jaden. And then Jerry Jeudy, that guy is bad at football. So I get why he's on the bench. Falcons D against Miami. I think 6 different people put in a claim for them. That's a good play this week. T. Higgins finally getting his way back in the lineup with Joe at the helm. They just needed a Joe back there. And then obviously Quinshon is great. I will say, I joke about my Patriots juggernaut defense. They have not given up a running back to have more than 50 rushing yards this season. I do think that probably changes with Quinshon this week because I think he's the best running back they've played, maybe, but they did play James Cook, so maybe not. Maybe we're just a wagon. DeAndre Swift didn't practice today, but it's Dude's day. I'm assuming he's going to play. We'll see, right? I think Ford's going to take this one. I think Rory is probably going to go 0-3 with Puka being out. I mean, realistically, he's got Justice Hill in again, and he still is not trying to make trades from my understanding. Obviously, I don't have spies everywhere. Maybe he is trying to make trades, but my understanding is he's not. I think Ford takes this one. Our third matchup, Steele and Chase. And Steele comes in at a 47-point favorite. 168 is projection. These guys are actually averaging 171. This is with Lamar being projected for points. I'm not sure if he plays this week. Practice will be telling. If I was a gambling man, which I am not, as you all know, I don't think Lamar plays this week. I think he probably misses this week. That would be my guess. I could be wrong. And if you look at the scoreboard, do the little checkbox next to all positions, every single checkbox except for the defense is on Steele's side right now. I guess the Patriots against Cleveland have a slight edge on the Packers against Pittsburgh. You guys obviously know I'm going to pick Steele here, but I'll still do the matchup preview anyway because you guys are all entitled to that for each of your matchups. Steele has the best team in the league, and it's not close with JT, Bijan, JJ, Egbuka, Jake Ferguson, Dobbins, Javonte Williams. And he's got those guys playing each other, Dobbins and Javonte. Obviously, Dallas defense is atrocious. Javonte is the RB6 on the year. Brandon Aubrey's the kicker 1. Steele's team's just a wagon right now, and I feel sorry for whoever has to play them weekly. I got mine out of the way earlier. I think I have to play them one more time, but that's only 2 losses, right, fellas? Chase, I will say, made a great pickup with Eddie Pinheiro off waivers. I should have grabbed him instead of Matt Gay. That was a good pickup. Pat's D has been solid. I don't know if Nico's going to play this week. He did not practice today. The Darren Waller show was fun for like a week or two. He's already on IR. This season's basically just been his career and his speed run. doesn't play, comes in as electric, and then is injured immediately. Jordan Mason obviously takes a hit if Aaron Jones does in fact play on Thursday. I know he's been like his window activated, so I'm not sure if he's going to play, but we'll see, right? Derrick Henry obviously needs Lamar to play, or he's basically worthless because he's only good in the Ravens offense when they're up. He's not a pass catching back. He doesn't play from behind. Steele's going to win. I don't really have much to say. All right, fourth matchup. This one's going to be even shorter than the last one. Derek and Chris. I checked this morning. I checked again. Derek hasn't set his lineup yet. In his defense, it's going to be tough for him to roster a team this week. I don't think he looked. Derek, when you draft a team, there's a number next to them when you draft that says buy. It says buy, and then it says the number underneath it. If all of them have the same number, you are boned that week. And that's kind of what we're seeing right here with all the injuries and all of the bye weeks. We have Genty, Sharbs, J-Mo, Laporta, BTJ, and Kenneth Walker all on bye. Amarian Hampton's injured. Scary Terry hasn't played at all. Godwin's injured. So, if I'm Derek, probably not going to roster 2 QBs, probably not going to roster 2 defenses, and pick up some guys off the waivers. But there's a reason Derek's average finishing place is like 7th place. I don't even know if he's made the playoffs at this point, honestly. Actually, I can't remember. We did the research on it. Someone fact checked me on that. I don't know if he's ever made the playoffs. If he has, I don't think he has any wins in the playoffs. This is obviously going to be Chris here. Odunze's been a little disappointing as of late. Obviously, Kittle was a huge disappointment last week, but he didn't play him, so it didn't matter. I am a little surprised to see he's starting Kittle and Kraft over Stephon Diggs and Jordan Addison. But neither here nor there. Breece Hall, maybe he gets traded this week. We'll see. Bucky is missing another week, and then he's on bye next week. So week 10 at the earliest for Bucky to be back, which is a bummer for everyone because Bucky's awesome. Colts D against Tennessee is probably the play of the week. They're probably going to score a pick 6 this week. This is going to be ugly. I think Chris takes this one pretty handedly. All right, our last matchup is me and Caleb. Obviously, Caleb gets his first win last week. Good on you, Caleb. Happy for you. I was excited to have Mike Evans back to talk about a little bit. Obviously, probably not going to have him at all this year, which is a bummer. I do have Trey McBride on bye this week and David Montgomery, but Montgomery's been a little disappointing. Caleb is definitely affected more by the Lions being on bye because he was Jahmyr Gibbs who was on bye, so that's his best player on bye this week. Right now, Caleb, I come in at about a 4-point favorite, and these are basically half my team's waiver wire pickups at this point. Josh Downs is in right now. He's a waiver wire. Tez Johnson was a waiver wire. Quinton Johnson was a waiver wire earlier. Obviously, my defense and the kicker are waiver wire. So we have more waiver wire pickups than non-waiver wire pickups, which is not anything that you really want to see. But that's kind of where we're at this juncture. Again, I didn't get the kicker I wanted. I picked up Parker Romo just because they're playing the Dolphins, and they're in a dome. And he went to Virginia Tech. So that's what we got going for us. We'll see if I end up keeping him in. Niners defense against Houston. Caleb going with the Eagles defense against the Giants, who actually had scored 0 the last time they played. Obviously, the Eagles are going to be at home this time, hoping for a better outing. Like I said, he's going double tight end with Kyle Pitts and my GOAT, Hunter Henry. DJ Moore, Lab McConkey, Trevin Henderson. This is the week, Caleb. I think he rips off a 50-yard screen. He's going to house it. It's going to be awesome. We're all going to go crazy. I'll get points for it, too, because Drake May, obviously. And then Akane and Mahomes are probably his 2 best players that are remaining. Not probably. They are his 2 best players that are playing this week. Ladd has carved out more of a role of himself. So Thursday night, we'll be telling for our matchup with the QJ and Lab McConkey, and he also has Dicker the kicker. So a couple players playing for us on Thursday night. And that's about it. This is tough, for sure. Caleb's hot. He's 1-0 in his last one. Maybe he makes some more roster adjustments, although I'm not really sure what outside of his defense and maybe plugging in Gadsden. But you got to be a crazy man to go 3 tight ends in this day and age, Caleb. I think I take this one, even though I'm scrappy. We're going off the waivers. It's going to be fine. I think Drake May, QB3 on the year for those keeping track, leads me to victory, even though he's going up against a stout Cleveland defense. But that about wraps me for the week, fellas. Appreciate you guys as always. Appreciate you watching. Let's maybe make some more trades. Why not? Just not to Steele, please. I beg of you. His team's already too good. But love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Stay blessed. Go Pats.